video number 4. We're going to cover a bit about training now. So someone's just joined the gym, Ben, and they're walking in and they're thinking, "Oh my God, where do I start?" What would you say to them?
Right. First off, me and Jason have both been there. We were both in your shoes once, and I know that it can feel like a different language. It can be very intimidating. You're not alone. We've all been there. Everyone starts at the same place. What I recommend, first off, if you can, most gyms give it gym induction. This gym induction, it'll usually be took by a teenager kid who's pretty interested, but can teach you the basics of it. Teach you the basics, how to use the machine, how to do some simple exercises. First off, if you're training, you don't need to be training more than 3 times a week. To start off, I would implement a full body routine. So this is where you work your full body. You see our bodybuilders, Arnie, doing arm days. You don't need that at the minute. That's something that you can build on later on down the line. The whole bodybuilding, to a degree, is just building up volume that you can tolerate with. So that is something you can progress on to. Right. So your full body workouts, you want to split these of your main actions. Do you want to go over some of the main actions?
Yeah. So squats, squatting, a form of squat, a hip hinge, a push, pull, and some form of carry. Yeah.
So what sort of variations?
So
squat?
Simple, basic squat variation would be a goblet squat. A deadlift could be maybe a sumo or a sumo kettlebell deadlift to kick things off with a hip hinge.
Or if your gym has a hex bar, that's a really good place to start.
Yeah, you're right there actually. Yeah, I'd go there first, then go for a thing. Push, so overhead press.
Bench press.
Bench press, yep. So you're hitting both angles there, vertical and horizontal, and then a pull. So you could hit bent over row.
Bent over row, chin up, pull up, lat pull down, dumbbell row. These are all some of the key exercises. If you want as well, you can either message us, and either of us will just basically fire you a few YouTube links on what these are.
Yeah.
If that helps you.
Just as a side note there, I'm going to be, literally towards the end of this week now, I'm getting, when my tripod arrives, I'm going to be recording squat tutorial, a hip hinge tutorial of some variety. I haven't decided what exactly yet, but I'll be going over the 5 sort of key movements with coaching points as well, so they might be of interest, and they'll be over on my page, so check them out.
And when do I fit in my cards, Jace?
At the end of the workout, mate. After you've done these, so the isolation stuff and the areas that you really want to focus on, aesthetically, like beach muscle wise, I'd fit them in not post workout, but towards to the latter of the workout, because you're going to be using your arms or your biceps, your triceps for the push-in, pull-in movements. So you're going to stimulate them that way as well. Would you agree with that, Ben?
Yeah, totally. Explain to the viewer basically what the difference between an isolation exercise and these big compound exercises that you were mentioning.
Okay, so the compound exercises are multi-joint movements, so they're basically bigger movements that use more muscles. So thing like a squat is obviously, it takes a lot more energy to perform it, and it's going to stimulate a lot more muscles as opposed to literally an isolation movement, which is literally the one muscle working basically. So a bicep curl is obviously going to just solely work your bicep, whereas like we said, like a bent over row will work your back and your bicep as an example. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see, for example, just to add to that, if you're doing a lot of compound exercises, think of the amount of energy that requires. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a lot heavier weight, and as well, it's going to use a lot more muscles. So it's going to be way more energy, and it can help for fat loss if that's your goal. As well, it's going to be a lot more taxing on the body.
Definitely.
So, right, basically, I've got my Monday, my Wednesday, my Friday for my workout days. How many exercises would you recommend to do to start off? What sort of how do I approach this? How many sets, reps, rest periods? Go ahead.
Talk me through some exercises. Basics. I'd literally focus on 5 exercises. Like I say, squat, push, pull, hip hinge, and a weighted carry. We haven't really gone into them yet, but what we're talking about there is sort of like a suitcase carry, farmer's walk, something along those lines. And reps, anything from if I was beginning with a client, I'd anything from 8 to sort of 20. Remember, you're developing a skill, so the more you can get used to performing these movements, you're going to be able to develop them more. So the more repetitions we perform with them, obviously the more familiar and the better at these movements you'll get, and more efficient and stronger, and everything will just progress nicely. What would you think about sets, Ben?
Sets, right, so everything we're saying at the minute, like if we were working with a client, it would be very specific, but we're just giving out general advice here to just help a large amount of people, but we would get into a lot more specifics. For someone basically starting out, 2 to 3 sets. 2 sets most likely would be ample enough, and then another form of progression, 2, 3, 4 weeks in the line, you could add in a third set.
Yeah, we totally agree with that. What about rest periods?
Rest periods, basically, for a beginner, I would just make it very simple. Say, for example, 60 seconds. But for, say, I was training you, Jace,
yep,
I would actually usually make them first lift one really big compound exercise, and I would maybe go the lower end of that hypertrophy, so go 6, 8 reps, 6 to 10 reps, and I would get a lot more rest. And then as the workout built on, I would maybe cut the rest periods down from 90 seconds to about 30 seconds, and build up that more intensity, get a lot more blood flow in the muscles, and create that pump. That's something I would do for an advanced trainee.
Definitely.
So it is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's important that you get enough rest, obviously, so that you can perform the movement like efficiently for the amount of reps you're trying to perform. So don't just like put the weights down and then like within 10 seconds pick them up and go again. Like let yourself have adequate rest.
What sort of like it's going to be very dependent on the exercise, but for a general rule of thumb, what sort of tempo would I be performing these exercises at?
Yeah, so the lower end of the lift, I'd be looking at 2 to 3, maybe even more seconds, and then So I'm trying to explain this now. So on the bench press, press. There you go. You can demonstrate it for me. It's bigger on the screen, so it does work out if you do that. So as he's lowering the weight, he's going to go down for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. He's going to pause, and then he's going to drive it up. That's it, and then he's going to repeat that basically, nice and controlled. And he's just focused on basically achieving a full range of movement whilst keeping the weight controlled throughout and trying to engage the pack, providing like he's obviously trying to.
Okay, basically, just to explain to the viewer, when Jay says about engage, right? So there's this thing called a mind-muscle connection. So, say for example, I'm doing a bench press. I want to literally be able to feel my chest work. For a lot of muscle groups, this can be quite hard. So, for example, a lot of people find their back hard to activate because they can't really see it. Their chest during a bench press, because other muscle groups tend to take over, like your shoulder and your tricep. Sometimes your hamstrings, your glutes are a big one just because of our lifestyle. So if you imagine, say I'm doing an arm curl, 90% of people can feel their bicep just because we lift things all the time. When we're doing these exercises, it's important to slow the movement down so that we can really engage that feeling. And once you've built that mind-muscle connection, that feeling, then we can start adding on load. Talk a wee bit about overload for the beginner and what they should do. So they've completed their first week of training, their first 2 weeks, etc. How do they then go on and progress?
So what I would recommend as a solid investment would be a logbook. Just literally, it can be a small little book, and just record what you're doing, and sort of how many sets, how many reps you're achieving on each set, and sort of the load that you're lifting. And providing everything obviously is good, like in terms of form, and you need to record really like how much what you did. So then you're trying to beat what you did the previous occasion you get in there. If that makes sense. Agree with that, Ben?
Yeah. One thing as well, like you don't to a degree. I would always allow some sort of flexibility for a client. So if we had 5 exercises, I would usually let them do do 4 of those exercises where they record, and then once I've built up the knowledge, I would let them do that 5th exercise, anything they choose. So, or say I do an upper body workout with a young fella, and 9 times out of 10 I'm like, right, okay, we've done the key basic work. What do you want to do now? To finish off for the last 5 minutes, and we do like some supersets on arms. We do something just to finish off. At the end of the day,
have a bit of fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, the main thing about the gym, the main thing about starting out is adherence, enjoyment. So you need to be enjoying things. You need to be seeing results. Results is what's going to keep you motivated there. Like I was up early this morning at 6:30, training. Like, why the hell do I get up at 5:30, hit my alarm clock to go to the gym? It's because those results just keep me going and keep me motivated. It's in a routine now, and that's what you want to be grabbing. You want to just be getting into a routine, getting some form of results, talking to other people about the gym,
definitely.
And just building that into your daily routine, your weekly routine.
There's a lot of free information out there as well that you can stick into that will probably help you and benefit you too. So yeah, we'll leave it there.
What take-home points?
Oh, take-home points. Yeah. So 5 key movements: squat variation, hip hinge variation, push variation, pull variation, and a carry, a form of a carry. Yeah.
Training 2 to 3 times a week.
Yep. I'll let you finish off, mate.
2 to 3 times a week. Rest periods around 60 seconds. Control the weight. Rep ranges 8 to 20. Staying in that rep range. 2 sets to start off. Then build on to 3. And yeah, enjoy it. And
track your progress.
Yeah, track your progress. Logbook. Progressive overload.